one team kill on the other side. It's Akola versus Mia, the two best players in their country for pretty much the last couple months, right? It hasn't been all that long. Akola maybe like a solid year, but Mia has recently risen to the top, really establishing himself as a dominant threat. This set count, however, is 3-0 in Akola's favor.
And that's not to say some of the games haven't been close, because there have been sets where it looked like Mia might be able to come out on top of them, but Akola has just been such a dominant force in Japan that he has looked good throughout. And I mean, I hope you like Game & Watch, man, because we'll be seeing a lot of him in this top 8. And I was talking to a couple of the Japanese guys. It's kind of popular opinion in Japan that Game & Watch is actually top 5 in the game.
Yeah, and it's hard to be surprised by that when you see how well Mia has done, both at home and internationally. We were talking earlier about how not being experienced with travel to the US or to North America can be kind of a disadvantage, right? And can make some of these guys struggle to show their true potential. That has not been the case for Akola and Mia. Akola's first tournament in NA was the Invitational, which he handily took first place at. Mia's was Apex 2022, which he handily took first place at.
Yeah, both of these guys have come in and just shown their true colors, shown that dominance that they show in Japan on North American soil time and time again, and now facing each other for the 4th time. I mean, and it kind of business as usual. Unfortunately, Akola was able to take the first stock, and I mean, something that we need to talk about that is so crazy about Steve is he has that frame 4 out of shield option. The footstool anvil out of shield is so good. But not only that, even if you miss, you still get a stall and fall anvil that is a pretty decent mix-up on shield. And so coming out there, Akola actually did miss the footstool, but still managed to get the kill due to the anvil mix-up. But Mia answering back in a big way now. The bucket actually on the minecart has been doing great work for him this stock.
And not only the bucket on the minecart, but the immediate up B afterward to catch Akola. You can tell these guys have met in brackets so many times. By the way, tied at 66.0, and this guy is mining off stage. Oh my God, he's busting out all the stops right now. He's like, all right, look, Mia, I've beaten you 3 times straight. I'm not going to let you be the one that ends my winner's bracket life here.
And that's such an interesting adaptation from Akola, actually recognizing that he had the stone blocks online, which lasts a little bit longer. And so using those stone blocks, positioned himself off page to mine a little bit of extra resources. I mean, he's definitely beating the Steve Main's not smart allegations, because it's something you don't always notice that he's actually doing, but in these situations, they're calculated. He's paying attention to the resources and he's making full use of them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Also, FD being the stage for game 1, the resource pool here is so strong for Steve, but also the layout is so strong for Steve. I'm very surprised to see Mia allow this for game 1, but I don't know, maybe he's just very comfortable here. Obviously, Game & Watch's punish game is going to be really highlighted here when there's no platforms to retreat to.
Yeah, and Mia has been doing a great job with these punishes, but unfortunately, a couple of anvils have gone the way of Game & Watch, and they will take his stock so early. We saw it with Meister, and we're seeing it again here. Mr. Game & Watch is one of the lightest characters in the game.
Yeah, bottom 4, bottom 3, bottom 5, so it's somewhere between 3rd and 5th lightest.
Within the bottom 5 lightest, yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right with bottom 4 or bottom 3.
Yeah, it's either Pichu, Puff, and then I think tie between Squirtle, Game & Watch. Yeah,
I think you're right, but someone's gonna get mad at me.
Yeah, that's fine. Please, we welcome the free interactions.
yeah. At me on Twitter with what Game & Watch plays.
All right, either way, I don't think it matters. Light enough to die is really what's important here, and Akola going to take full advantage of that. Really strong Game 1 performance. Now we're going to see Mia switch it up, take it to Smashville. I think this stage is great for Game & Watch. You have a little house to hide underneath, get your neutral air pressure, your up air combos, and also just being very difficult to approach horizontally and vertically here. So dangerous for this character, and Steve's pulls are going to be way worse than they were on FD.
And I'm glad you mentioned it, because we are not going to see those stone blocks come online on this stage. I believe you can't even get them on the Animal Crossing stages. None of the stone available. So,
yeah, judging by the bar, I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, none of that is going to be available, and that means breaking the walls and stopping that kind of air camping from Akola is going to be much easier for Mia, and we're seeing it already. The up airs are coming out in spades, and Akola has nowhere to go.
Yeah, Mia really turning up at the beginning of the second game here, using the stage to his advantage and to Akola's disadvantage, right? Again, those walls being so much frailer, so much easier to get through with Game & Watch's aerials. I'm liking his chances here. Oh, great response. So, you can jump out of the minecart and turn it into a command grab, right? There is a slight delay in between it hitting your shield and becoming a grab. Just enough time for Mr. Game & Watch to pop an up B and use that invincibility to his advantage against the anvil. These are the things that make Game & Watch uniquely suited to take on Steve and the bucket on the minecart as well. But still, it didn't show to be enough in game 1. We'll see if Mia can bring some different ingredients to the kitchen this time around. So far, he's cooking, but
oh my gosh,
it
man.
burned.
And I mean, it's hard to say because there is counterplay to the minecart and to the anvil, but there's so many situations that Steve puts you in where it feels like you're guessing which one is coming out next. And those situations are the one where Steve is able to take stock so early, time and time again. It almost feels inevitable that you're going to get hit by one of those, but the nice SDI in actually from the side of Mia gets him out of that combo. So only 32% off of something that could have been significantly worse.
Yeah, you have to have the counterplay on lock when you're taking on somebody this good. And again, this
oh! How does it feel?
Nurse, I'm not going to lie.
How does it feel?
I'm not going to lie. I laugh every time I see them miss the tech on their own blocks.
It's hard. They
that
know
was
it's
your
hard.
setup.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take it? But of course, in the heat of the moment, it's a little tricky, and maybe you don't expect people to use your own tools against you.
I mean, great recognition from Mia to realize that the dash attack would set up at that angle to put Akola off stage, but the anvil comes in time and time again, and look at the amount of iron that Akola has right now. We are not going to be worrying about a lack of resources anytime soon as he builds a home off stage.
Yeah, this
What
is
is
going to
this?
be
What
really,
is this right now?
It's going to be so scary for for Mia every time he knocks Akola into disadvantage. Just because with infinite iron, that means infinite minecarts, infinite anvils. You got to second guess every single follow-up unless it's a true combo.
Yeah, that being said, Game & Watch has a lot of very strong true combos, and actually using the iframes of the up B to great effect through those minecarts, and now Akola is actually being forced to use the iron to build platforms off stage, and so Mia has actually got it down to just 3.
Oh, the up B, hold on. Might be looking at a returned favor on the 2-stock.
One left.
Oh, he went real deep for that. Obviously,
Holy.
still going to be able to recover, but it's a little scary being out there against Steve. He could just turn things around against you. Oh, and there it is. Oh, wow. Still alive. Okay. Never mind. Steve, not as light as you might think, by the way. I think at the beginning, you know, everyone was like, oh, yeah, it's pretty light. It's fine. It's like, you know.
It's because Sakurai kind of implied that he was. You know what I mean? He was like, Steve, you can knock him off stage pretty easily, and it's like...
He's got all that iron in his pockets.
Yeah.
This man is surviving. And Mia making sure to prove me wrong. Gonna close that one out with the 2-stock back-to-back from each of these players. And now we're basically at a best-of-3 situation.
Yeah. And the advantage state from Mia there was pixel perfect. We talked about the iframes that Game & Watch has on up B. There's 8 of them going from frame 5 to 13, I believe. And Mia was making, I mean, just picture-perfect use of those iframes to catch out the minecarts time and time again. When Akola leans on that move to get back to the stage, Mia is punishing it. And while it's not the biggest punish, it makes Steve have to use more resources. It makes him have to consider how he's getting back to the stage. And Mia just looks so comfortable right now.
Yeah, so far it's just been all about him for pretty much the last like 5 minutes of gameplay, right? The entire duration of the last one and the start of this. So we'll see if Akola is able to start turning things around. Of course, being here on small battlefield, the resources are going to be a little bit better, but I don't know if that's enough, right? I don't think that was necessarily the difference maker. Mia also just was playing amazingly in that game. He was shutting down every option out of disadvantage, which again, I think is so key against Steve, no pun intended.
Yeah, and we're actually seeing Akola start to mix up the recoveries. He actually, on the other side of the stage, did the minecart into the immediate jump into the early up B to try and mix up the up Bs out of Akola, and he's doing, or sorry, out of Mia, and he's doing a good job now getting back to the stage, but the pressure from Mia, because Akola's not getting back to the stage for free, he's being forced to play at the ledge against Mia, who just has many, many more chances in those situations to take stocks.
Yeah, I think when you play Steve, who has such great options out of disadvantage, sometimes you just call it in. You know, you get a little autopilot-y with the minecarts, with the down airs, right? But when somebody really starts challenging that and calling you out and punishing accordingly, like Mia has been, that's what's going to force Akola to dig deep into the recesses of his brain, come up with some creative solutions. Wow, footstool up B. Kind of unfortunate. I feel like the footstool on its own would have been better.
Yeah, the footstool absolutely would have gotten rid of the stock on Akola, but Mia I mean, proving us that he didn't mean to do it intentionally, but taking the stock regardless. Here comes a steel chair, and Mia is wielding it time and time again.
Also making sure to set that crafting table on fire with forward smash, but Akola gonna respawn and make it again immediately. Low-key, I kind of think that's like a fake tip in the matchup. It's like, yeah, like he's got to use a little more wood and something to make the crafting table, but like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that much. He can spawn it just by entering shield for a few frames.
I think the actual counterplay of breaking the crafting table is when he's off stage and stalling just below the ledge. That's when you're supposed to do it, but I mean, you got nothing else to do as he's respawning. You might as well.
Yeah, just get something done.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't have a lot on the docket today, but I want to be productive. Just do a couple push-ups, maybe. I don't know.
All good.
Feel good about yourself.
It's your daily reps of breaking the crafting table.
Yeah.
Making sure to get his in, and 81% already on Akola, but a big opportunity. The Diamond F smash coming through, and now Mia deep offset. Whoa.
Oh, that was spooky for a sec, you know. The Game & Watch up B does get through the blocks pretty reliably, but sometimes with a lot of stuff.
No way!
Oh, he texted this time, but wow, Mia even privy to the roll. He's just all over Akola's escape options, and that's what's putting him up in this set right now, on the verge of taking another stock lead, but it's not going to be easy. Steve with the diamond ready to go, one already crafted. And all this rage, too, that cannot be ignored. Steve has a lot of kill power without it. But, okay, Mia is going to cut that potential off right there. Make sure he stays up by a pretty comfortable margin. And now Akola has to actually craft the new diamond tool, right? If you can deny him access to the crafting table, whether it's broken or not, that's very important.
And the awareness to realize that that Akola was going to tech off of that block and still cover that anyway, most people would just be like, oh, that's BS, I hate Steve. But
right.
Mia here, ready for the coverage in those situations. He's played this matchup so many times at this point, and that is the sign of an experienced player, somebody willing to lab out the weird situations and counterplay Steve, and Mia is now reaping the benefits as the anvil comes through and takes the stock. Finally, a second to breathe for Akola.
114% though. This is so tough to come back from. Again, Game & Watch, one of the best characters in the game at maintaining a lead, just because approaching him is such a chore, such a risk every time. Oh,
and there's the mix-up.
Barely off the mark right there. Yeah, the Elytra's going to allow Akola to skate right on by, but the bomb is waiting for him at center stage. One more edge guard could be everything. No damage off the minecart, but heavy damage off of that.
Yeah, 33% on the side of Mia. And these bombs landing on the other side of the stage mean that they're not going to secure the stock, but Akola almost completely out of resources in this situation. No gold, no iron. He's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, and Mia says, not this time. The third bomb connects, the third bomb takes the stock, and the third game goes to Mia.
Worth pointing out, by the way, that was the contact hitbox of forward air that comboed into the bomb. Yeah, it's a little tricky to land that, especially because the bomb doesn't go off for a little bit of time. It doesn't always link, but that was essential for Mia right there. You saw like 4 bombs initiate the dramatic finish, but not finish the job. Finally, a sigh of relief for Mia, who could have gotten Rage Steved and lost that game 3 right there. Instead, it's going to be him on set point right now. Town and City, again, resources are not great for Steve here, right? You're going to have the iron, but the lack of stone means your walls are much less potent. We'll see. Can Akola use this kind of weird stage choice to his advantage?
And I think, you know, it is a weird stage choice in terms of the resources not being quite as good, but the benefit you get is the, you know, the close side blast zones. Steve having very strong kill power with the diamond back air, with the F smash, such reliable kill moves, even the minecart off the side and the anvil. Those close blast zones are going to benefit Steve significantly, and so obviously Akola thinks that the trade-off is worth it in this instance. Now mining in center stage, trying to build those resources, and something we haven't talked about enough is how good Mia is at keeping pressure on Akola so he's not able to build a steady amount of resources. We never see Akola really with more than 5 irons at a time, as the pressure from Mia is constant throughout this match. And I mean, this is really the first game that he's had a chance to build this kind of resource surplus up, and now the wall is online. The pace back in favor of Akola, and Mia, we need to see what he's made of, because he's been close before, but he has never closed it out.
All right, that said, it's still pretty close, right? One down smash into forward smash, and we're looking at an even game. Obviously, Game & Watch's low percent combo game is crazy too, right? So the 40% that Mia's rocking right now, you can see that be made up for in an instant.
Yeah, and actually, I think something that might have gone into the stage pick is actually the wider, just base stage of Town and City is allowing Akola to disengage from Mia more often. On like something like Smashville, for example, which is what Mia picked, the stage is actually quite small, the literal stage size of it, that is. And so, you know, Akola was forced to interact with the nairs, with the up Bs, with the back airs out of Mia. In this case, he's able to disengage. He's able to build those walls either in front of or behind him, depending on the situation. And that disengagement has allowed him to dictate the pace of this game. And he has done a fantastic job of securing these stocks.
And at this point, with this kind of a deficit, with this kind of resources on lock for Akola, I don't know.
You go for a 9, and if you get it, we start trying again. And
right. Oh, hold on.
Here we go.
Oh, okay. If he had gone for maybe a third neutral air, could have linked into a 9, but Mia just gonna stick with old reliable.
And I mean, it's a bit of a gambit to go for that. And honestly, Mia has looked very confident throughout the set. And I think going for the conversion there instead of just the YOLO 9 shows that confidence. He's like, I have the combo. I'm going to cash out for the guaranteed damage instead of just the shot at a stock. And I'm going to bring this game all the way back and almost doing it there with that aggressive up B. Akola just sneaks back onto the stage, but that pace we were talking about a second ago has fallen way back into the favor of Mia.
Yeah, it's looking a whole lot different than it was literally 60 seconds before this moment. Okay, the up B out of shield going to come through as well. Oh, back air on shield.
Oh,
wow, that almost broke his shield. My God.
Yeah, the diamond forward smash, not only so strong and so fast, but does so much shield damage. And Akola is actually going to find himself off stage, and now Mia, only 83%. And when I say only 83, I mean most of Steve's moves are going to kill Mr. Game & Watch at this percent. And
like that one.
I mean,
that one for sure. No doubt in my mind about it. And Akola coming back in a big way to even the set up. We're going to a fifth and final game, Nurse.
Game 5.
Is this our first game 5?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we had some shutouts, honestly. And then
yeah,
a couple 3-1s.
Couple 3-1s, yeah, the first game 5 that we have seen in this top 8. And like you said, these guys have definitely gone to game 5 before. The sets are competitive, and we constantly see Mia putting that adaptation to the test against Steve. It's just never been enough to take it over Akola, but I think that final stock of Mia shows us that it is possible. Shows us that he has the skills to do it, and we're actually going back to FD. Mia.
Wait, what? Why are they counterpicking themselves? I don't understand. Did you not see how game 1 went?
I mean,
is this like kind of a DSR situation where the players are almost forced to go back to a slightly unfavorable stage? Like, I don't know. Honestly, the Japan meta is so different from ours, right? You look at their tier lists, their opinions on matchups, like the stage choices that we see sometimes, like they're just operating on a different time.
I think the main thing here is the juggling is very strong for Game & Watch, and Mia has been finding a lot of money off of the up airs and the nairs, specifically starting on game 2 and 3, but man, Akola just looks so comfortable on this stage and just building those stairs off stage, allowing him to minecart back to center stage. No platforms in the way, and these combos are coming through just in the nick of time. Mia has been put at such a significant disadvantage within the first minute of this game 5.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you can't disregard Steve's own juggle game on a stage like this, right? So it seems like everything is kind of in Akola's favor with the FD pick. Even with that said, it's still doable for Mia. He's got to take the stock really, really soon, though. And not lose one.
That just takes the wind out of your sails if you're Mia on this side of things. A huge comeback now to be made in this game 5. And dude, Akola in game 5, his record is, I'll say it's incredible. This guy, it always looks like someone's going to do it. It always looks like someone has figured it out. Someone's labbed the Steve matchup finally. We finally got the counterplay, and Akola always comes through in these game 5 situations and looks like the best version of himself. It's consistent, and it is crazy.
Yeah, something just activates for him. He wakes up, he uses all the data he's collected over the course of the set and puts it to great use. But hold on, Mia, one last shot here. He's got to land some kind of a combo into a 9. Just to even the score or play the best advantage of his life and never let Steve touch the ground. Instead, it's looking like quite the opposite. We're going to see already 60% on this very light character.
Yeah, and so much stone built up, so much iron built up, and the gold in the back pocket means that Steve will not be strapped for resources for a very long time. Mia now at 99%, 99.9. I mean, if there's a lucky percent, I would hope that is it. And we saw the third 9 or the fourth 9 unable to find its way onto the screen as Mia bets it all on the 2, and Akola is there to punish it on hit and win in another Game 5. Dude.
Jesus. Desperate times call for desperate measures, right? You had to try something right there, but Akola, the way he's able to just turn things around, being down 2-1.
Yeah.
To suddenly winning the set, not just regular winning, but completely running over Mia.
Game 5 was dominant, yeah.
Wow. All right, let's look at some of the replays of this set, though. This one was great all the way through. Again, the 2 best players in Japan, they're bound to give you a great show. It all started here on Final Destination, much like how it ended, but this was a lot closer, right? You see them on the second stock tied up 66.0 apiece, but it just never went back to center for Mia. He lost this game, not so badly, but solidly.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so curious about the counter pick back to FD in that Game 5 situation, because that game actually ended as a 2-stock as well, so both FD games ending in 2 stocks. There were other options for Mia, and I really want to know what the thought was there, because while Game & Watch is a strong character on FD and is absolutely a character that you want to go to FD with, so is Steve. So is
right.
Steve every day of the week, and so I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, either way, you still saw some great gameplay. I'm going to be scratching my head about that Game 5 counter pick for probably at least the rest of the tournament, and potentially well beyond that. And I'm sure Mia will too, but you know what? You got to have a short memory when it comes to stuff like that. Shoutouts to EE for the words of wisdom. You know, you got to just move on, right?
Yeah.
Keep it pushing every single day, and don't let your winner's bracket loss affect your loser's bracket run.
Yeah, man, as Ted Lasso says, the memory of a goldfish. The memory of a goldfish
Exactly.
coming into that loser side of things. And as we get into the next set, we do have to shout out Aver Media for making this possible. A huge shout out to Aver Media for supporting the event. We have US promo codes. You can scan the QR code right there. And looking to start broadcasting, man, you can record your gameplay with this stuff, practice sessions, upgrade your streaming setup. You can look no further than Aver Media's awesome lineup of broadcast.